Hi everyone. Today I'm going to redo the lecture from last week since I didn't have the ability to record. So for those of you that did not come to the lecture last week, you can watch it here. And for those of you that did come to class, you can review this in case you are confused. So this is a warm-up, and basically I'm just going to have you pause the video and try to find the answers to this. And I'm going to keep going through this without pausing. It's up to you to pause. We were told about writing the equation of a line in slope-intercept form. Mrs. Velasquez talked to you about it, and here are the hints for that. You want to start with your y-intercept, which is your b. Just to review, y equals mx plus b. Your b, whoopsie, your b is your y-intercept right here, and your m is your slope down here. So you want to figure out what is your y-intercept, and then you would need to find your slope, and then you can graph this. So pause the video and do the best you can. All right, so the first thing I want to do is I want to write down what is my slope. My slope, which is my m, in this equation is -1/2. And my y-intercept, is a -1. The sign stays with the number. So I'm going to plot -1 on my graph, -1, 0, right here, if you all can see that. I'll blow it up a little bit more. And we have to remember that when we go up, that's positive. When we go right, that's positive. When we go down, that's a negative. And when we go left, that's negative. So if you can think back to when you learned about multiplying, positive and negative numbers, when you multiplied a positive times a positive, you got a positive. When you multiplied a negative times a negative, you get a positive. So if you are going to have a negative slope from this point, I'll change the color so we can see it, we have to either go up and to the left, this way, or we need to go down and to the right. We have to have one positive and one negative. So we are going to go, I'm going to go up 1 and over 2, up 1 and over 2. Again, I could go down 1 and over 2 this way, down 1 and over 2 this way. And from here, I can connect my points and make my graph. The second example, which is y equals 3, if you notice, when we look at y equals mx plus b, slope-intercept form, there is no mx, which means there is no slope and there is no x. All we have is y equals 3 at every point. When x is 0, y is 3. When x is 2, y is 3. When x is -4, y is 3. Y is 3 at every point, so we have a horizontal line, y equals 3. All right. One other thing I would like to review with you is slope and the slope formula. So the slope is rise over run. Rise over run is the change in our vertical, or our y, over the change in our horizontal, or our x. And we can write that in shorthand. In math, we use a triangle, which is a Greek delta, meaning change for mathematics, so change in y over change in x. And our formula for this is y sub 2 minus y sub 1, this is m equals, and x sub 2 minus x sub 1. You could write it y sub 1 minus y sub 2 over x sub 1 minus x sub 2. The thing you have to keep in mind is that you have to be consistent. So if you're using the first point for your y1 and your x1 you have to use it on the top and on the bottom. So what the heck am I talking about? Let's look at an example here. An example would be find the slope of these 2 points, -1, 4 and 6, -2. So I'm just going to put this as x1 sub 1 and y sub 1 and x sub 2, y sub 2. Why? Because the -1 comma 4 was my first thing written on the page, so I put it as 1 and the ones, the point 1. It doesn't matter which one you do, and I'll show you both ways. So I'm going to take, using my formula from up here, y sub 2, the first one, y sub 2, which is a -2, minus y sub 1, which is 4, over 6 minus x sub 1, which is a -1. Then I do my mathematics. -2 minus 4 is -6, and 6 minus a -1 is 7. So that is my slope. It is negative. So that means I'm either going to go up and to the left or down and to the right. One is negative, one is positive on each of these. So if I wanted to graph this, I first need to know my y-intercept. And that gets a little bit more difficult, especially in this problem. So I'm going to do a separate example so that I can show you an easier one to graph. So let's look at another one. Another example here. Let me give myself some room. Okay, another example of slope. So with this example, let's use purple. My points are 2, -4, and 1, 6. So from here, I can find the slope as, let's go ahead and write this, x sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2. And this time I'm going to use this point first, as I was showing you up here in this particular way. So let's say our m is equal to -4 minus 6 over 2 minus 1. Again, I need to use these points first on top and on bottom to keep it consistent. So from here, I get -10 over 1. So my slope is -10. I'm going to rise 10 and run 1. Now I'm going to go ahead and give you our y-intercept, and that is 0, 16. And my graph doesn't have 16, but we're going to go ahead and add to it as best we can. So that's about 9, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So right here would be our y-intercept, and our slope is 10, 1. I'm going to go down because there's no place for me to go up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and run 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and run 1. It is a very steep line. I'm going to try and draw this. I think I'm going to use a tool that's going to give me a line, make it a little easier. If it'll work, whoops. Try that again. Right here. And I think that's as good as I'm going to get. If I try to mess with it, it'll get worse. So that is slope. Now, in class, I actually went over some information that I thought you already knew. And so I'm going to reteach that a little bit in today's class as well as in the next class. So let's go through our lesson for today. Our lesson is building equations in slope-intercept form, equations of a line. And the first way we're going to do it is if we are given the slope and the y-intercept. And honestly, this is really pretty simple. All you have to do is plug it in. Now, I've written the steps. Did I write the steps? No, I guess I didn't write the steps. Okay, so basically, you have to remember what is the slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. This is our m, our slope. This is our b, our y-intercept. So, looking at example 1, we have our slope is 8 and our y-intercept is 0, 3. We just use the 3. So we would write y equals 8x plus 3. And that's your answer. Simple. All right, let's try example 2. Example 2, our slope is negative 2 over 5. That's our m. And this is our b, 0, 4. So we'll use the 4 for the b. And we will write y equals 2/5 x plus 4. Your y and your x are going to be every single point. If you go back up here and look at this, every single point on this line is a y and a b and an x and a y, we would say. So every point is on that line, and when x is, say, 1, what would our y be? And when x is 20, what would our y be? And that's what we're finding with these equations here. Okay, concept 2. Build an equation of a line in slope-intercept form given a graph. Well, this time you need to figure out the y-intercept and the slope by looking at the graph. So let's figure this out here. How do you find slope? Well, actually, let's look at my steps, which is find your y-axis first, and that's where you cross your y. Find your y-intercept where you cross your y-axis. And where you cross your y-axis for this first one is going to be here at -1. So our y-intercept is -1. The second step is to find your slope, which is your rise over run. Both these are positive slopes because you're going up and to the right, or if you want to think from here down and to the left. So we have a positive slope, and we can look at it. Let's take this one from here. We go up 1 over 2. So our slope is 1/2. Up 1 over 2, or down 1 and to the left 2. So to write our slope-intercept form of a line, step 3, is you just plug it in like we did above. So our slope-intercept form of a line, I'll put right here, and we write in y equals 1/2 x minus 1. All right, let's look at example number 4. So number 4, we have quite a ways over to get to our slope. There might be something in between that we could count, but we're going to check out and just count up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're rising 7, and we are running 1, 2, 3, 4. So no, there is nothing in between that. It's 7 over 4. Our y-intercept is down here, which is a -3. And to write our equation, we plug in our m and our b, and we get y equals 7 over 4x minus 3. You can stop this at any time to be able to write all of this down if I'm going too fast for you, which I'm sure I am. But I do need to pause this for a second because actually that is really all that I covered in the review. You can find your assignment on, let's see, where is it? I'm going to go ahead and look on Canvas. Which is actually under Unit 2, Day 3. So the assignment is Unit 2, Day 3. And in Canvas, you will find a worksheet from CUDA, which is titled U2 L3, and there are 6 problems where you have to find the slope and 10 problems where you actually have to graph the line given the slope and the y-intercept. So there are 16 problems, and you are good to go. See you next time.